As a young person, to be exposed to all these things, it's very difficult for us. Especially when it goes to all this thinking of Machiavelli and all these people. It gets you all confused. And pretty soon you don't know if there is a God or no God. I don't know, maybe other church kid is much better than me. But we are fragile people that is easily influenced, especially by our professors. Because we thought they are almighty. Because they can give you an A or a C or a D. And at that time, that is the situation I was in when the American brothers and sisters came to the Philippines. But because we were in the church for so long, so they assigned me a bus and asked me to be a tour guide. And that bus is not a huge one. It's only about, you can take about 30 in that bus. And so when I went to the airport to receive them, they arrange everyone according to numbers, or everyone has their bus all pre-assigned. And the one that was assigned to my bus are all sisters. 100% sisters. Strong American sisters. One of them is Martha Ball. And also Beverly. All the sisters are there. So, when I took them into my bus, right away they were calling on the Lord, shouting and said, "Brother, you should call with us." I thought, "Oh, yeah. Oh, did I?" But as I said, they are really strong and aggressive, I think the sister from California and Texas is probably the worst. They just keep calling on the Lord and keep asking me to call on the Lord with them. 1968, when this calling on the Lord was first being recovered. So it's not like we have that before. Before that, we don't know that you can call on the Lord. You think to call on the Lord so much is to take the Lord's name in vain, So there are still a lot of questions about how do you practice this, But this sister kept calling the Lord, and said, "Albert, you should call with us, blah, 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 blah." So finally I have to step down and say something. I said, "Sisters," "sisters, this is the Philippines. And the Philippines is a showcase of American democracy." Oh man, they were all quiet. They know something is coming. And I said, "That means you have full freedom to call on the name of the Lord. But that means also that I have the full freedom not to call." That's American democracy, isn't it? So I said, "Sisters, I'll take you to your hotel and take you to the meeting hall. But let's just do it that way." So they were, they don't know what to do, They don't know that someone will really speak to them in such a way. But as the conference went on, we have all these church kids that are acting as tour guides. We have quite a few buses. There's 160 some that went, And so we have big bus, small bus. The biggest bus can only put 50, and the small bus is only 20, 30. I have a small bus, but a very nice air-conditioned bus. But during one of this meeting, all of us tour guide met downstairs before the meeting. And we started talking to each other. And we said, what if these sisters, as crazy as they may be, is right? And we go through all this conference, not enjoying this name that they are calling on. Because they keep giving us all these verses, how the Lord is rich to those that call upon His name, you know. So we said, what if they are right? Then we are fool. There can only be one person that is right, you know, either them or us. So we decided, we said, let's do something here. Let's all call on the name of the Lord. But we have to do it in a way that we don't lose our faith. I think all church kids want to save our faith, you know. Is that right? Yeah. We don't want to lose our faith. So he said, so I suggested, I said, there is a way we could do it. Let's all sit at the very back row of the conference. And we have 10 of us there. He said, let's all do it this way. The 10 of us would stand up together. We will call on the Lord's name 3 times, not more. And before people could recognize us, because there are 10 of us, we will all sit down. That way we get to call on the name of the Lord, yet we don't lose our faith. And so that's what we did. While the meeting is going on, you know, we're not even listening to exactly what they are saying. All of a sudden, 10 of us stood up and called the name of the Lord 3 times and quickly sit down. You know, but the Lord is not something that you can taste without giving you a reaction.
Right.
It is really something. Just by calling on His name 3 times in such a way, the Lord was able to touch me in a very deep way.
Amen.
During that time also, I had lunch one time. We had lunch in a hotel, you know, because there's just not enough place in the meeting hall to do it. And so there's very, very many small tables. And on one of this table is Francis Bo. And I was sitting with him. And he was asking me, are you saved? I said, of course, long time ago. Now, how could you be born in the recovery and not be, you know, that's sacrilegious. So he said, well, have you touched the Lord? I said, well, I don't know. He said, we could really touch the Lord. And so I said, how do you do that? And he said, well, have you heard of that verse that we should worship the Lord in spirit and in reality?
Right.
I said, yeah, I have heard of that. He said, have you ever worshiped Him by exercising your spirit and in your reality? I said, I think I have exercised my spirit, but I don't know if I ever really worship Him in reality. And he said, well, you have to be real to the Lord. I said, how could I be real to the Lord? I said, I'm afraid of Him. He said, all throughout my kid life, I know exactly how to pray. I pray to Him according to what He wants to hear so that He doesn't punish me. I think this is just like a Buddhist praying, huh? So he said, well, is that how you felt? I said, no. He said, but I'm afraid to pray otherwise. I pray to the Lord, Lord, I thank You, I worship You, Lord, I love You. Because we're taught as church kid to pray this way, even from children's meeting. And we don't dare pray any other way. What if you pray any other way and the Lord is not too happy with you? But Francis that day really touched me. He said, you have to be real to the Lord so that the Lord can be real to you. He said, so how do you feel about the Lord? I said, well, if you really ask me how I feel that the Lord is the Lord of my parents, but He is not really my Lord yet. Because sometimes I feel He is the Lord, sometimes I don't feel too much that He is my Lord. It's just, I'm just not too convinced that He is my Lord, Yet I'm afraid to say that. But Francis kept telling me that you have to go before the Lord and tell Him this. He said, only you could do it. That evening, that night, I went back to the Lord and I prayed to Him. I said, Lord, you are my parents' Lord. You're the Lord of my parents. And because you have shown to them they love you. But to me, you're not that real. That's why I cannot give myself to you fully. I still want to go out with my friends. I still want to do this, to do that, because I don't feel that you are that real. He said, but Lord, tonight I want to tell you something. Make yourself real to me. Make yourself just real to me, or else I'll just go love the world as my friend does. I said, today I come to you in the sincerity of my heart to pray to you that you show yourself to me. And with this and the combination of calling on the name of the Lord just came in and touched me in such a deep way. That Lord's table that followed was such a tremendous Lord's table. I don't know to other people if they feel that that's a tremendous Lord's table. But to me, the Lord has come in. I could still remember it as if it's yesterday. How I cried from the very first song to the last prayer in that Lord's table.